So today I want to share a list of backpacking gear for guys like this. Well, hey folks, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. Today I want to just share with you the items that I could recommend to you if you're just getting into backpacking. You want to do overnighters, maybe multi-day, you're on a really tight budget, and you just don't really know where to start. Maybe you've been invited by a friend, a family member has been doing backpacking for years, and you need to get some supplies, but you don't really know what items to look for, what's right price points versus, too expensive, what are maybe things you can pass on, and things that you definitely need. So for myself and my family, we've been backpacking for years, doing multi-day, going all over the Rocky Mountains and loving every minute of it. And so I just want to share with you the items that I've found that work for me and that particularly I could recommend to you if you're on a budget and you're just starting out like my buddy. And before we dive into the list, just want to share with you that you don't have to try and write anything down or try and remember some of the stuff we hit today. There will be a link in the description below over to Amazon as well as Blade HQ, where you're going to find a ton of this gear so that after this video, or if you see an item that really stands out to you, you can pause it, click that link. It'll take you right over to Amazon or Blade HQ and show you those products that we're talking about today. Not only will it help you and make your purchasing easier, but it helps us get out here and make videos just like this. So let's go ahead and get to it and see what type of gear I can recommend to you.
All right, so sticking it with that vein of lightweight, inexpensive, high performance, water purification is super important if you're going to be doing backpacking and you're going to be doing multi-day particularly. I can recommend to you the Sawyer mini water filtration system, about $18, weighs 2 ounces, fits in the palm of your hand. This thing is awesome. It is able to, because of its hollow filter design, it will do 0.1 microns, which is great for handling almost all bacteria, protozoa, like E. coli, Giardia, those type of things. And it's going to be able to handle 99.99999 of bacteria and 99.999 of protozoa, and meets all USA standards. This thing is awesome. It will not do viruses, so don't take this overseas. It won't do as well, and you could definitely get sick if you're going to third world countries and doing backpacking. But here in the United States, and I would probably argue Canada, you should be totally fine, and this will filter out any diseases or sicknesses or bugs or anything in the water that you would face. I would say also get an extra pack for about $10 more if you have the finances to get a 2-pack of their 64-ounce dirty bottles, the bags to handle. That will really help process more water for you than just the little 32-ounce bag will. But this thing is awesome and going to give you clean water, and we use them constantly when we go backpacking. Shelters. Now there are 2 options, and really it's going to depend on weight and price. So how cheap do you need to be? This one is going to be the more inexpensive option. This is the Mountainsmith Mountain Shade Tarp. This is an epic tarp I've been using for a while now. We've done it on multi-day hiking trips, backpacking trips, in the backyard with the family, through thunderstorms, rainstorms. I mean, this thing has really proved itself to be awesome. At about $50 is what you're going to pay for this. It's a bright orange, so it can be used as an emergency flag down as well if you got lost and someone's out there looking for you. The thing that I like about this is cut up basically in design in such a way to be used more as a lean-to setup, and I really like that, or an A-frame setup. And it comes with very generous paracord already attached and stakes. So it kind of comes with the whole package, which I really like, so that you don't have to add things to it. It is designed to either be set up with trekking poles, or they do sell separate poles for about $30 more, or you can, again, just tie it to trees or whatever, and works as a great shelter against the elements. So if you aren't really concerned about bugs, or you're just on a super tight budget, or you just don't feel like a tent is what you really need right now and it's not that big a deal, this thing is awesome. It's going to be really lightweight. I believe it's under 2 pounds for the setup, and it will cover several people. You can get about 4 people under here without too much difficulty, and your gear, as long as you lay it out properly. And we've been using them for I think 2 years now, 2 or 3 years, with 0 issues, and we love them, and they really perform really well for that $50 price point. So illumination, super important, and this handheld illumination is phenomenal. It saved my butt a couple times when headlamps and other flashlights have broken. This has stood this test of time. This is the Bahco Clarus 2-in-1 flashlight lantern. This is run off of 3 AAA batteries, and this will be the same as the headlamp I suggest a little bit later, so that you don't have to carry different types of batteries, which is a big plus. So 3 AAA batteries. It has that 2-in-1 feature, so it can work as a lantern, illuminate a tent or a campsite, and then can be collapsed and used as a really good, powerful flashlight. That works really well. It's got IPX6 rating for water resistance, so rain and that type of thing is not going to affect it in any way. It has 4 different settings. It has a low, which will run for like over 130 hours, which is insane. A medium for 15 hours, high for 5 hours. Has a strobe emergency feature as well to help people locate you or locate a campsite. The high is 118 lumens, and then it just drops from there. Very versatile. You have used these things for years. $15, screaming deal, and it's about 2.5 ounces without the batteries, and you're looking at maybe like 1.5 ounces more width. So compact, lightweight, hitting a great price point, durable, and is going to have that not only flashlight capability, but again, illumination lantern capability for larger throw areas. So love this thing, can't recommend it enough. Okay, to cook your food, regardless if you're going to bring in food and just cook it right over the flame, or you are going to be doing a lot of freeze-dried meals, which is usually what we do, or boiling water, you know, for water purification, you know, whatever. However, you need a good stove. And so we've been using the original for years, and now this new one for about 6 months. The MSR Pocket Rocket, and then the Pocket Rocket 2.0 is the new one. These things are phenomenal. We love them. They are ultra lightweight, the new one being 2.6 ounces, smaller than the original, which is awesome. Comes in a little case, about $35 right now for just the element. So this is where the flame will come out, and then and then you purchase separately canisters of fuel. And the canisters work really well. We never had leakage or problems. Burns super hot, very wind combative. So if it's windy out, it won't blow out right away. It has the ability to keep burning and keep going. I've only had it in very severe conditions blow out on me, I think, one time in like 6 years of backpacking. So really awesome setup. Will boil water really quickly, and just has a great name behind it. You know, names sometimes does matter, and MSR, it really knows what they're doing with their stuff. And again, it's not going to break the bank at about $35. And then each canister is about, you know, they have lots of different sizes, but the average ones are about $4. And you know, if you have 2 of those, you could go for several days, you know, boiling water and doing what you need to do. So the MSR Pocket Rocket is a must. So I believe every backpacker must have a good, reliable, fixed blade knife. Not a pocket knife, not a folding knife, not a Swiss Army knife. Those are all good, and there's nothing wrong with those. And if you want to add that to the list, great. But you got to have a fixed blade where there's no moving parts. There's nothing that's going to get broken, damaged, you know, jammed up, fall apart. It's just a piece of metal with a rubber handle over it. And for about $18, you can get the Mora either Companion or Heavy Duty Companion. These knives are phenomenal. Look them up online if you're unfamiliar with these knives. These are ridiculous. There are hundreds of thousands of YouTube videos of people testing them, stabbing them into trees and standing on them. These things are epic. Made in Sweden, about 4 inches, Scandi grind, so great for helping with any type of either repair stuff. You know, maybe you lose your tent pegs or they break, and you need to carve some with wood, or you just want to, you know, make a fire and you need some feather sticks to help, you know, prepare that fire, food prep. I mean, whatever. However, you just need a good solid knife. These things are indestructible. They weigh almost nothing, and they're really inexpensive, but they're from Sweden and from a company that's been making knives for over 100 years. So these things are phenomenal. I cannot recommend them enough. Everyone needs to have one, and everyone should have one when they're backpacking, just because of how versatile and lightweight they are. So the Mora Heavy Duty Companion or Companion, the Heavy Duty is just a little bit thicker. It has a little bit fatter handle. It just really depends on what your preference is and what your price points are. They're about within $5 of each other, between 15 and 20 bucks. But guys, have one of these on you. Even if you don't think you're going to use it, it is a must when you're on the trail. Now, if you are feeling like you do need the tent and you don't have an option for that right now, The two tents that I can recommend to you, just depends on if you're a one-man or two-man, is the Kelty Salida series. It's either the one or two-man. They run about between $100 and $120 is normal going rate. I've been using these for about 6 years now, both one-man and two-man, just depends on the size. They both are super functional, great in the hard weather conditions, rain, hail, those type of things, and they are both coming in at under 5 pounds, which is really good. And at about $100, you're getting a really good bang for buck. You got a good name behind it, Kelty, that stands behind their products, and is going to give you all the options that you would need. The Kelty Salida 1 could fit about a 50-pound dog with you, but you couldn't get 2 people in there. My dog Tommy has slept with me before in there without too many issues, and he's able to have enough space, and I'm able to have enough space. And then it has a little shelter lean-to, for your bag underneath it, underneath the rain cover. These both come with rain covers. Or the two-man will definitely fit my wife and I and our 50-pound dog Tommy, the trail dog, and we'll have the vestibule to cover 2 backpacks. So these things are awesome. And if someone was asking me, hey, dude, I got like $100, I need a tent, and I'm doing backpacking, well, then I would say the Kelty Salida series. Just depends on one or two-man size. So what do you boil your water in? Now, there's a ton of different options out there with pots and pans and cups and all kinds of different stuff out there. This setup for me, when you are wanting to hit a budget and get the most out of that budget, this just really makes a lot of sense to me, guys. This is the Stanley 24-ounce cook set. This thing is phenomenal. $15, made out of 18-8 stainless steel, BPA free. It's going to have measuring marks. Some pots don't come with that, so you never know how much you're really boiling. You just got to kind of eyeball or use your Nalgene. So it has measuring marks, which is fantastic. Again, 24 ounces, so you're easily going to be able to get 4 cups worth of, nope, sorry, trying to do my math there. 3 cups of water, which is more than enough for any, like Mountain House freeze-dried type of meal. Easily boiled in there. It will also come with 2 polypropylene 10-ounce cups that are stackable inside. This is huge, particularly if you like drinking tea, you like to make maybe soups, coffee, all that type of stuff. This is phenomenal. So you don't have to bring another mug, you don't have to make another, or buy another mug, all that different stuff. It stacks inside. And what's really cool is that the new Pocket Rocket 2.0, if you remove one of the cups and only take 1 cup with you, will fit inside this setup, which is awesome. So if it's just you by yourself, or you're willing to split the cup and take turns or whatever, you can actually store your Pocket Rocket with a lighter inside this setup, which is a great option as well. And if not, or that's just not that big a deal to you, you got those 2 mugs, or you're going with more people. It's got a vented lid, so it'll help boil water faster than just a metal cup. Maybe a little cheaper, maybe a little lighter, but you're not going to get all the features that this has. So it has the lid, which is a nice bonus, and you can drain out of it as well, and then that nice handle to keep it away from the elements so you won't burn yourself when you are removing it, or if you're cooking in a fire. So I love this thing. I love it. This is a great cook set for the price, and is going to be great for backpackers. So sleeping is super important when you're out there. You've been burning tons of calories, you've been hiking all over Kingdom Come in God's creation, and you need a good night's sleep. And you don't want to be tossing and turning, sleeping on rocks, and trying to make a pillow out of a bramble bush. So some items I can recommend to you, with not, again, going too in depth because there's a lot of variables, but some things to consider. I love the Klymit brand of sleeping pads. These things are phenomenal. They have every type under the sun, from insulated to double thick to double wide to lightweight to ultralight and everything in between. So you pick your combination, but I have several different types, from their large, like VMAX, that they have, to insulated versions depending on the temperature that work really well. So if you're in really cold conditions, their thermal ones are awesome. Extra insulation. Ultralight, a lot of times they're on sale. You can get them for $50 or less depending on your size and color, options that you want. But the Klymit series will make your sleeping arrangements on the ground so much better than anything that I've ever used before in years past. The other thing is the Sea to Summit pillow series. Sea to Summit is an amazing company. They make tons of gear, and I love their pillows that they offer. These things have changed the way I sleep. Instead of trying to use just a jacket and stuffing it under my head and it's all over the place, or just slick types that are out there. A lot of times there are blow up pillows that are kind of slick. This one has a little bit of cloth texture, kind of like what you'd find at your house, so that your head isn't slipping all over the place. These things are awesome. It'd be about $50, $40 to $50 depending on size and options that you look at. But these things are fantastic and will change the way you sleep when you're in the outdoors. So the other thing that you need with illumination is hands-free illumination, so that you can be scrambling if you're trying to get out of a location. While you're cooking maybe at night, setting up a tent, you got to your backpacked in, took longer than you thought, and now it's dark and you need to set up your tent instead of trying to angle a flashlight or trying to use the lantern and you're missing stuff. You want something that is hands-free. So the Olight H05 Active is epic. Usually about $15. I have about 4 of these. Been using them for years. Love them. Recommend them to friends and family all the time, and I hear great things from them as well. They're like, dude, I'm so glad you recommended that to me. It's awesome for the price point. 2 AAA powered batteries. So most lights like this would take 3. So it's a lighter weight, less batteries you have to take with you, that type of thing, which is fantastic. And is going to be IPX4 rated. I've had it, rain on me and stuff, and no issues in that regard. High is going to be 150 lumens. That will gradually go down to 90 lumens, and that will go for about 4 hours on that high 150 lumens, and then it has 2 other settings at 30 lumens for 10 hours and 10 lumens for 27 hours, which is great. I mean, it's going to work fantastic. I usually use the medium, and it'll absolutely work for a backpacking trip for me without having to swap out batteries. So totally dig this thing. Reliable, lightweight. It does have a little red feature as well to save your night vision. It does have secondary red lights, which is pretty sweet, and offers that as an added bonus. So in this video, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. There's so many options when it comes to some of these items, but I just want to give you kind of some food for thought and point you in the right direction. If you're looking for a backpack to carry your gear, the 2 that I would look at, again, keeping in the vein of quality at the lowest price point possible, I would look at the Kelty Redwing 50. Now this is a 50-liter pack. Phenomenal. It is on the smaller size, so I would say if you are going for several days, this may not be the right option for you. If you're doing like 2 to 3 days and you're able to pack light enough, I think you could absolutely do it and do some backpacking with this and have enough space. You probably won't have space for like camera gear and any extras. It would literally be just the gear that you are using. No bells and whistles and frills. The other option that I prefer and that I and my family usually use is the Mountainsmith Apex series. Now they have a 60 liter, an 80 liter, and I believe they are still making the 100 liter options. Now for most people, the 60 liter will be fine as long as you're not bringing a bunch of extra gear up, particularly like camera gear and things like that, electronics. But if you are going for several days, and or you do want to carry maybe drones, maybe camera gear, whatever, however, then the 80 liter. That is usually what I take as I'm prepping for my next backpacking trip with the family here soon. This will be the Apex 80 will be the pack that I take with me. My dad, who usually goes way lighter, he can do the 60 liter without issue. So these are just some ones that I could totally recommend to you. The Kelty, I think, is like 130 to 140, and then the Mountainsmiths are going to be between 150 and 180. Just depends on the size and color combinations and things like that. But these things are epic, and without going down the rabbit hole of trying to look at all these different aspects, and there's 100 different packs out there, for under $200, both of these types of packs will be absolutely fantastic. If you can find them used, maybe on eBay or something like that, you will not go wrong. So this one is a video all on its own, and I have made several, and I will include at least a few in the links below, but it's a medical kit. You got to have a good supplied medical kit. I would recommend building your own, and I have videos on how to build your own and what to look for. If you just aren't prepared for that, you don't have time to do that, you don't have the finances, whatever, there are pre-made ones out there. Adventure Medical Kits is a great option. They have options from like $20 all the way up to $100. Just kind of depends on your price point and what you are willing to do. But do something. Please don't just go out there with some Band-Aids and like a little, you know, antibacterial cream or something. You'll regret it. You know, you need things from Benadryl and anti-inflammatories to painkillers to preferably some sort of tourniquet, and you know how to use it in case there's a compound fracture, an injury with a tool, you fall and, you know, get impaled through trees, bad cuts with rocks. I mean, whatever. However, those situations, you know, large gauze bandages, ACE bandages, you know, lots of things like that are really important. Tweezers. I mean, I could go on, and I have in tons of videos, so I'm not going to belabor that, but get a medical kit, either build your own or buy one. Links below for not only a pre-made, but also ways on how to build your own and get a really well-supplied medical kit for yourself. So I think this is super important, is a compact folding saw. And the reason for that is a couple things. One, if you're going to be doing campfires, to make it an easy way to get the wood that you need and get bigger wood maybe than what your either Mora knife can handle, or just, you know, other tools, or you just trying to kick down branches and collect what's on the ground. Also for repairing or fixing issues when it comes to shelters. Maybe your tent, you know, pole broke and you just need to tie off something or support, you know, stick a branch inside your tent and support it that way. Maybe you're doing the tarp situation and you need, you know, your trekking poles broke, or your whatever, and you need to get a piece of wood, like a small tree, and you don't have the right tools, you're in big trouble. So I think the Bahco Laplander folding saw, made again in Sweden, is an awesome option. Usually between $20 and $25, really lightweight, about 7-inch blade. These things are great for the price. For what you're gonna pay, these things are amazing, and they're really compact, and you just never know when a folding saw is going to be in need, particularly if you like doing fires when you're out backpacking, but also again for those emergency situations and building shelters and helping in that capacity. These things are phenomenal, and I think a valuable tool when you're backpacking.
So folks, I really hope that this list has helped you out and just gonna make your backpacking adventures that much more enjoyable, that much easier, so that you can focus on nature and the outdoors and not be worrying about either crappy gear that's falling apart on you or the lack of gear and wishing you had a particular item to make that adventure enjoyable for yourself and those that you're going with. So thank you so much for coming over here today and checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Love to hear you guys' thoughts. Any questions you have, I'll answer in the comments below. You regular viewers and subscribers, feel free to comment, and there are other suggestions that you have, other gear items that you think would be benefit to the people watching, particularly those newbies who are just getting into backpacking. And check us out on all the relevant social media. That's a great way to see what's up and coming. If you are not a current subscriber, I invite you to become part of the GT family and subscribe. You regular subscribers, thank you so much for your support. Hit that bell icon by the subscribe button to make sure that this shows up in your news feed. And finally, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. See you out there.